Hello again, everybody, and welcome to episode 78 of the Board Game Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Nick, and with me today is my co-host, Ayub.
Hello, hello, hello.
Ayub, my friend. It's been a while. I've been to Greece and back. We haven't been seeing each other for a long time. We played a huge game of Hegemony yesterday.
We did.
Now we're back to recording. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I almost want to talk about what you just mentioned, but there won't be long for our monthly recap, so
exactly.
You'll probably hear something about it there.
For sure. I can almost guarantee you'll hear about that. It was awesome. Yeah. Okay. But today, what are we doing today? Today we're continuing the Board Game Beatdown series we started 2 episodes ago, so go ahead and listen to episode 76 if you've missed the first one, where we read the lowest rated comments of our top 10 favorite games. We did 10 to 6, today we're doing 5 to 1.
Yeah.
But before that, what are we doing before that?
Yes, before that, we will just, as always, answer a little bit of a question. We did hear a little bit of feedback about us sometimes, answer it more like precise, boom, yes or no, or whatever that is, because we might, we played Hegemony, right? We might sound like politicians sometimes, that we can see both sides of the coin and all of that.
Definitely.
But today, this is a little bit more of a classic question, I guess, and I'll twist it a little bit just to see with the different numbers where that fits, and that is if you could have 15 games that you can play as much as you want, but never another game, or you can always play a game twice, but then never again. So this, I think, is more classic with, let's say, a lower number than 15, but also only once and not twice. But you are allowed twice. But then, if you really, really love the game, you have to move
on. Sounds like a hard question, but extremely easy for me.
Okay.
I'll pick the 15 games, 100%. Yeah. I even have almost my list, so I can't see myself playing a game only twice and then never again. Even though we tend to do that often with this group, I just couldn't see myself doing it for never. That would be insane.
Yeah. I think I'm on the other side of the coin. Yeah.
I know you are.
I think twice, because then at least I get that feeling, and I know there will be something else. I know there will be a new thing coming out that I will be excited about. And I think my FOMO will hit extremely strong if I then am not allowed to play anything that comes out. I will definitely be sad sometimes, of course, if something is like, oh man, this was really
the logistics are very hard on that one. So for example, if we're playing a game you've played twice, what happens? We invite you, but
that's also the thing.
For example, if you play something that's out of my 15, so that would be a logistical nightmare. But that's a cool.
It would be like, hey, we have 30 games together, like 30 plays.
Exactly.
We need to think about how we spread them out. One for Christmas, one for. But yeah, I mean, we picked not the same, which is sometimes rare in these type of questions. So it's also curious to see if the numbers are split among everybody out there as well.
Yeah. Good question. Maybe we should start doing some polls somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be a good idea, maybe.
Do you think... No, that's not the right question. Do you think there is a number where you think, okay, now it will change over to the other part?
Well, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Pathfinder, Terraforming Mars need to be there forever. So these are 2. Kingdom Legacy is very close to that. So it cannot be below 3 ever. Because I want to play those 3 games forever.
Yeah.
So I think maybe 4, so I can think of another one. I don't have one right now. Maybe Mage Knight, but
what about if, let's say, it's still 15,
yeah,
but the other number can raise from 2 to some number where you think, okay, if it was this high, I would maybe change. Do you have something like that? I mean, it's out of the blue, I know, so...
No, it's a good question. The thing is that those 3 games that I mentioned, especially Pathfinder and Terraforming Mars, if I can only play them 7 more times, then that's it. I'm dead.
Yeah.
So unless that number is 450,
which makes the whole idea,
then I'm gonna keep picking the first option for at least 4 games in the first category, because they're like my lifestyle games.
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
It's also interesting. Yeah, because from our standpoint now, it's a little bit easier to know maybe. But let's say if I start at 0, I don't even know which 15, 20, or 30 games I would pick.
Yeah, exactly.
I might be missing out on something, right?
Yeah.
So
true.
So that's also a little...
Yeah. The difference is my FOMO is not that big.
Yeah.
Because I also have other board game adjacent hobbies.
Yes.
I play a lot of video games. I play a lot of card games. I play D&D. So I could feel the gap. Of course, a collection behind me that would only be 15 games, that's a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
But if those 15 games are games like Pathfinder, Adventure card game, that's a whole library in itself. So it would still look pretty.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I would still go with the first option.
Yeah.
No matter how many plays I have on the second option.
And I kind of feel the opposite as well. So cool. All right, but let's go to the main topic.
All right, let's beat down. Let's see how you hate the games that we love and why. Where we left off, we were at number 5. So my number 5 game, speaking of, is actually Pathfinder Adventure card game. It has 2 editions and a lot of standalone expansions. I'm going to read the reviews from the first ever standalone box that was released, Pathfinder Adventure card game, Rise of the Runelord. So whatever it's in there is what I'm going to be reading. It has a lot of reviews, more than like, can I see some? Yeah, 8,000 reviews, like 3,500 is at 7, 3,500 at 8, 2,000 at 9, and almost 1,000 at 10. But 58 people hated it and rated it a 1.
Yeah.
And a 1 means awful game does not meet the game's criteria, something like that on BGG. So keep that in mind. All right. Smurf of Death says, Holy Randomness Batman. Draw a card, roll to resolve, repeat. Minimally a game at best.
Damn,
man. You ruined it. That's the game in essence if described poorly. If you could describe a game poorly, like that's the game. You do draw a card, roll to resolve, and you do it over and over again. But that's definitely not randomness. That's definitely not a game. Because even though that's your main action for the turn, there is deck construction, which is, for my opinion, best deck construction I've ever seen. There is also the balancing of the cards, because for every challenge you face, as you said, you need to spend your resources correctly, because your deck, which is your resources, is also your life. So if you overspend, you're out. But if you not spend enough, you might lose. So even though this is the main core of the game, this is not, I think, at all what you are describing. And it is definitely not a game for me.
I mean, I can see that as more heavy board game players, we tend to put certain categories in a bad box and in a good box. But randomness is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But do you then think this game, do you feel like, is there a lot of randomness?
It is randomness in a good way.
Yeah.
So whenever you go to a new level, you form the piles of encounters you will face from random cards. The fact that there is randomness, it's good because it's replayable. If it was not random and you were always facing the same enemies when you went to the same level, it would be good because you would know exactly what it needs, but the replayability would go down drastically.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if a location has, let's say, 3 enemies, the pool where you pick enemies from can be like 150. So even though there's 3 enemies, you're fighting 3 out of 150, which is... I've played it a billion times and I can't know what's coming.
Yeah.
That's nice for me. It's random, of course, because you can get an enemy that's weak against your character or an enemy that's strong against your character. But I think that's how, let's say, quote-unquote, adventure games work, right?
Yeah.
You can face an enemy that's resistant to, I don't know, magical attacks and you are a magician, or you can face an enemy that's not.
And
I like that.
Yeah, and I can imagine some of our listeners might also think about the roll a die. I don't know if there's any mitigation. Or...
Mitigation is the name of the game.
Okay.
Everything you do either adds dice or adds modifiers to your dice.
Okay.
And this, now that I've played Pathfinder, let's say, so much, I know this what is the game is about. You can easily make every roll not required to roll if you want.
Yeah.
But then you are risking a lot, right?
Yeah, of course.
You are drawing through your deck because cards say, discard, add 2 more dice. Suddenly I need to roll 7 on 3d8s. Easy.
Yeah.
And then I add my modifier. But you can risk it and say, you know what? The consequences are not that bad in this card. I will not be using my good card now because I'm not losing that much. And I think even though it seems like it's random, you shouldn't care about winning or losing. You should have it as a fact you are facing the encounter and try and mitigate your losses. I think that's what Pathfinder is about once you play it a lot. And that's what really drew me into this game, because I also hate dice rolling in that manner. But Pathfinder is not that. Cool.
Yeah, nice explained. Thanks.
All right, next comment is from a guy that has the name Redgars, which hurts me because Redgar was my nickname, and he's putting a 1-star review. It's in Spanish, so I will translate it and then read it to you. This game is very repetitive. It's entertaining at first until you realize that everything repeats itself and boils down to finding a broken item that ensures you always succeed on your rolls, since each turn consists of roll the die, fail, or roll the die, succeed. On the bright side, I think the leveling up system is original. I'll take it from the down, up. Leveling up system, not only original, but also awesome. I really love the leveling up system. They did improve it in the second edition, one of the few improvements, but even in the first edition, it's pretty cool. Your turn is literally, your action phase is that you reveal a card, you fight the card, or you encounter the card, whatever, fail or succeed. That's just the basis of the game.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then I get it, but you can't say that it's a 1 because you know that's the game, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing that this is the game. It's a bad thing that this person thinks that is what it comes. That's what it comes down to. Rolling the dice and succeeding or failing, as I mentioned before, is not what it is about. It's about using your resources as best as possible to try and avoid the consequences or gain the rewards. That's what I personally think.
Also, we have talked a lot about we love games where all you do is play like Concordia and stuff.
Exactly.
And because it also actually helps a lot for new players and stuff.
It's very easy for me to explain Pathfinder to somebody, even though it's a very complex system. You know, there's all these different things and stuff. But I think it really does boil down to, you know what, on your turn, all you're going to do, besides, you know, upkeep and just roll a die. That's it. But there's a lot that comes down to actually you rolling that die. It's entertaining at first until you realize that everything repeats itself. I don't know how I feel about that. If you mention that everything you do on your turn is roll a die and face a card, yes, it does. But every encounter, every boss, every level, and every location are different. So I don't see, even now that I have played, for example, this base set, I've played it 7 times, which is like playing a legacy game 7 times.
Yeah.
I still don't feel like it's repeating itself. I still don't know what will happen because every location is built differently and randomly. Some effects are similar, yes, but I don't think it's enough to be repetitive. And maybe it's just me that I love it so much, but I think that I'm right on this one. I think that even though you do the same thing, it does not feel repetitive just because of how different things are and how interesting the deck construction and the dice mitigation system is in this game. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
When you talk about it like that, it kind of reminds me a little bit of how it feels when we played like Marvel Champions together with how things can change.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a very good comparison, actually. Yeah.
And I wonder if these people with these comments would also hate those games where it's like, in essence, you're doing the same you did last game, but it's different items, different characters, different...
I don't know. It definitely has the same vibe, you know? Every character is different. You fight a villain. Every villain's different. I'm going to read one more. I think that pretty much all the negative comments are going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to read one more just for the heck of it. Flip a card, roll a die. Probably have played it 20 times, but can't be sure. I tried to like it. I tried really hard. I don't know that I could even call this a game in a conventional sense, and it certainly has no meaningful theme/narrative. Okay, that's something we can stop. That's something we can stumble about. The first things, we already talked about it. I hope I have covered you in why I believe it's not just flip a card, roll a die, and there's a lot of going into it. But let's talk about the theme and the narrative. Theme is the classical Pathfinder theme. For those of you that don't know, Pathfinder was originally an adventure game, just like Dungeons and Dragons. So if you like that, you know, medieval fight dragons, kill monsters theme, that's the theme. The narrative does leave a lot to be desired. It's not a story where you go and read a book and you go the narrative. You have to read a little bit across the line, which for me personally, it's a bad thing because I love reading stories. But what this has enabled is many of my friends who hate me reading a story and playing with me to play the game with me, because it's easier to just say, okay, this is the narrative, this is literally how much I'm reading in each sentence, and you play. And I know, for example, you would probably maybe even prefer that to me reading a book like Midara.
Yeah, probably. I'm not that against it, but yeah, sure.
So I know it's a negative, and if you're going into it for the narrative, you can read between the lines and figure out the plot, because there is an overarching plot. You know, it's called Rise of the Rune Lords. Rune Lords are rising. You need to stop them. Okay. But it's not the heavy narrative game in the sense that we talked about Midara or Elder Scrolls or other big narrative games we've talked in the past.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that he said he had played it 20 times, but I don't know if I could even call this a game in a conventional sense, which, I don't know, I just think it's a lot of amount of times to play something that you end up rating a 1.
I think he wanted to maybe finish the base set, which takes, if you don't lose, around 12 plays. Okay. So maybe they played the base box, they lost a little bit along the way, and he went and wrote that review, which I appreciate if he does that, because I like reading a review where you play the game 20 times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Playing it once. But still, sorry if I sound passionate. It's just, I really love this game, and I do understand the points.
Yeah.
I'm just presenting my opinions on it.
Yeah, it was actually nice that everybody were pointing at those points, which is understandable. And it's not just horrible game. I don't know why people play it.
AI art.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, the points were valid. That's what you do on the game. If you don't know, you flip a card, you roll a die, you resolve the card. That's it. So, in a basis. So, they're not wrong to hate it, but
All right. All right. Should we move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ranked 61st of all time amongst all games, although it is known for being pretty heavy, 4.0 in weight by the amazing David Turshi. It's, of course, Anachrony here. And Anachrony has a lot of high votes. Otherwise, obviously, it could not be in the top 100 at all. But it also has a similar amount than Pathfinder had. It has 49 1-rated votes. So let's have a look. First one is Tic-Tac-Toe, which gave it a 1, and he or she wrote, interesting and novel theme, but it doesn't translate well to the gameplay, or at least it doesn't inform the actions and goals in an intuitive manner. Felt unnecessary, convoluted at times, extremely rote and obvious at others. Needs a few more plays for a more accurate assessment, but my initial thoughts are largely indifferent. Interesting. And this was actually from this year, so like 2 months ago, so maybe this person might change it in the future. I actually, for games in this genre, I actually liked the theme, and I don't necessarily care too much about it. I don't think the whole thing with the time traveling and, you travel back and you give yourself the resources, I think that came through. A lot of other things, I'm fine. Maybe that's not that important, but it's a Euro game. So, this is kind of what you're going into. But a Euro game where there was actually, I will say, a rather complex part of the design where the theme helped me, at least, and other people I played with understand it, that's cool, man. You're going back and you're giving this to yourself. That's not only are you taking that loan, but in the future, you have to go back and give it to you. Otherwise, where did you get it from? I think that was pretty cool, and definitely one of the reasons why I liked it. Felt unnecessary, convoluted. I will say I've played other games that felt way more convoluted, because in essence, and also depends how many expansions and stuff you're playing with, in essence, it is a put your work and get the resources. So I could see it about the last thing where, you need to leave the planet and gain some points in the final round and for the end game, and when do you go up there? That felt a little bit like
yeah, changing how the Euro game works in the final round might feel a little bit off.
Yeah,
it didn't for me, but I can see it might feel like that for
Exactly.
someone for sure.
So, but thank you for your honest review. Tic-Tac-Toe. Then we got Siffy 66, medium heavy worker placement game by Mind Clash. That's true. Maybe more than medium heavy, but yes, way too long for what it offers. Even longer if you have to teach it, like most games now. The bling is nice, but it is a pretty boring worker placement game at its heart. Plus, mech plastic figures are awesome. We have talked about that many times.
And I don't think I can go back to the paper ones.
Once you play with those, man,
it's over.
Yeah. Overstays is welcome. 3 hours plus. It is a long game.
It is a long game, but I don't think it overstays. I think the
don't
opposite,
think.
because you can also end it prematurely.
Yes,
Yeah.
and compared to some other games we have played over the last years that are this long, where we sometimes feel like, man, we did so much. In Anachrony, I always feel like it didn't even do 50%.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Exactly.
my mission, my tech here, my exploring up there, I just never get to do.
Endless Winter, we're looking at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When, just to compare, in Endless Winter, we even removed the worker,
Exactly.
right? For
We even made it harder.
yes, and
the
we
new
still
variants.
could. Still a good game though. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, overstays is welcome. Maybe if you're not looking for long games.
Yeah.
Then sure.
One point I will touch on is he said it gets longer with the teach. I will say the teach and the setup are two things that are pretty tedious the first time you played it.
Yeah.
Teach, hard to do, especially when you add that the expansion where you know the one.
With the
Warp. Not
Yes.
warp.
Where you can blink.
Blink. Yes. That expansion is very hard to explain, I think, for me personally, and also the setup.
Fracture of time. Yeah.
Fracture of time. Thank you. Also, the setup is a pain, and usually I love setting up games. This, I still like it because I only play it once every.
Yeah.
But if I were to play it in a weekly basis, it would be a really big pain in my butt, I think.
I can definitely see that. I do think maybe the teach feels longer than it is because of the setup. Because if you already use so much time on setup and then also have to teach, like combined, I think the setup is the worst part of those two. And especially if you're playing base game only, then...
for base game, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Resource cubes colors are too similar. That definitely depends on which version you have, I think. But I can see they're not like completely different.
Could be, but still, that does warranty a one man.
Not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
And then lastly, table hog. This is table hog.
Valid point.
Yeah.
Still not warranty a one,
Yeah.
I feel, but very valid point. It is a table hog.
Yes. Then another one just wrote Automata. I'm guessing for the solo. I know one of the expansions added a different type of solo. So.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
Solo game, 2 versions. The original one, 0 out of 10.
Okay.
I really didn't like it. I played it on Board Game Arena so I could come home and play it, and I didn't play it. I really didn't like it. The Automa, I mean, it was good, but it was very hard to manage. And I love controlling automas. I think I've successfully controlled some of the more complex automas out there, and still I did not enjoy this. And I will say, if you are a solo gamer and you want a game for solo, don't take this. Take Arnak, Paladins, Terraforming Mars. There are other hero games that do it way easier and way better, but this is a must for the multiplayer game. It is. I think it's one of Mindclass's best works, personally. I really like it.
Yeah, me too. But cool. So you're right on point with that. Maybe, of course, I don't think you could rate the whole game on one.
No, definitely not.
Especially because it's not put out as a solo.
It's a solo game. Yes, exactly.
It has a solo mode.
Yes.
So
I think that's a little bit unfair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just putting it in one because of a solo.
But at least you wrote why you gave it one, so that's good. And then this is interesting. And maybe this will be the last, just so we don't use 5 hours for every game. Time travel for resources. That's just a loan. You put loans in your game. Congratulations. Well, it's a cool way. I don't mind. I like loans. As one of the number 1 rated game of all time right now has loans.
Yes.
You don't give it a 1 for that reason, right?
Exactly. And when loans are done like that, it's actually interesting and engaging and on theme. And I think it actually carries very well in the game.
Yeah.
Like thematically. Of course, I get free resources now, but since my future self gave them to me, when we go to said future, aka round down the line, I have to.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I like it.
And I think also, if you just hear loan in any game, my first thing to think is I should try and avoid those.
Yes.
Because this time travel thing is like, oh, this is cool. I should help myself right now.
Yeah.
So I think not only does it translate nicely into the game, I also think it actually boosts how you feel like doing that action.
Yeah. Yes, and it is very important that games that offer loans usually want you to take them, but you avoid them because you are afraid of them.
Yeah.
So presenting them like that,
Exactly.
I think it might actually be a very interesting and smart design decision as well to force you to take them more.
Exactly.
Because you hear many times designers say, don't be afraid to take loans. Yeah, of course, but it's a loan. Of course I'm afraid to take it, even though you say that I have to. But like this, I think it's way smoother.
All right.
Okie dokie. All right, we have a common number 4.
We do.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it together. Ranked 9 overall now. I mean, it was all the way to 2 back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's 9. You probably know that game. It's called Terraforming Mars from a small indie company called Freaks Games. Weight 3.27. I don't think I can even count the number of reviews it has. 26,000 at 10, 35,000 at 9, 29,000 at 8. That's crazy. Still, 340 at 1. I'm prepared. I know what most of this is going to be.
Yeah.
Let's just start. I'm going to start with one by Tic-Tac-Toe. Whoa, is it the same guy?
Yes,
Tic-Tac-Toe?
it is.
Holy
That's
moly.
the same picture as well, yeah.
You're going and rating our game? Tic-Tac-Toe, I'm going to find you. Detroit, Michigan, I'm coming. Okay, what a slug. Have never understood the high acclaim. A floating Eurogame engine builder, on quotes the engine builder, whose engines take way too long to build and whose resource conversion and card play is largely banal and not particularly novel. Tic-Tac-Toe, my friend.
Yeah.
I disagree with every single sentence they said, but let's break it down. What a slog. I don't feel like the game is a slog, especially in lower player counts. If you played 1, 2, or even experienced 3, 4 players, I really don't think it drags. Adding the Prelude expansion, of course, which I've mentioned many times, I feel it's essential.
Yeah.
Have never understood the high acclaim. Skill issue. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't know what to respond to that.
No, I mean, like,
you don't, but
like you mentioned, let's imagine this is first of all, it's also a recent vote. I think he's just got into,
What?
sharing. No,
I'm gonna find you, man. I'm gonna find you.
but if right now we played for the first time ever Terraforming Mars, no prelude, 4-player game, getting into it, I could see somebody in the beginning, let's say, trying the game in its worst light in some sense. Might be what has happened here.
Okay.
I don't think it's a one at all.
Yeah, no.
But
Yeah.
the thing with the engine building comment, I think that's
Floating Euro engine builder on quotes.
I think it's one of the
definition of engine.
clearest engine build
I mean,
I've seen. So
yeah. And the engines might take too long, maybe the first time you played it, because you have to understand how it works. Because keep in mind, it's a complex game. The design behind it is crazy. But once you get how it works, I think the engine actually takes off in the right time. And it actually has one of the greatest scalings I've seen, because you really start and you can do nothing in the first few.
Yeah,
and with the Prelude expansion, you can play 1, maybe 2, 3 in the best case cards. And then by the end of the game, you are trying to find what to do with all the resources you have. So I think the scaling is nice. Resource conversion and card play are lazily banal and not particular in level. I don't know. I disagree. I think the card play is awesome. I think that the cards are improved version of the basic actions, and they allow you to do so many different things. I've played this game more than 400 times, and not 2 games are the same, which says a lot, I think. And resource conversion is cool, especially adding in expansions that you can use it.
And I don't know how many games I've seen where they have track for your income and the resources right above. It's just so nice. So yeah. Well, I wonder if sometimes with these type of comments, if they played just a small thing, like instead of having 2 things you can do in your turn, having only 1. If you make these type of mistakes, then it might start feeling long or something like that.
What I noticed below is Smurf O Death, which is the guy that rated the Pathfinder one, is also... What is going on here, people?
They are connected.
Race for the Galaxy does everything interesting this game has to offer, does it in the fraction of the time, has meaningful player interaction instead of garbage, take that, and has cohesive art direction to boot. I just don't understand the popularity of this. I'm sitting back and I'm letting you take.
What?
See how you feel about that.
Yeah, no. First of all, I think Race for the Galaxy is a completely different thing, scale-wise and everything. Race for the Galaxy feels way more like a race rather than an engine building. So, of course you're making like small engines, but before you can actually really take advantage of them, the game might even be over. This is, of course, a way bigger game where you build up and, you get to actually really feel that engine. Even if you lose, you actually get to use the engine you build up, no matter which one it might be. So in that sense, is a completely different thing. Has meaningful play interaction instead of garbage, take that. So there's a few cards that are read in this game.
8% of cards.
And it's not even the worst to take that at all.
Yeah.
So this is definitely what I feel someone who really, really plays solitaire multiplayer games. And then just a little bit might feel like, what the...
No, I play solitaire multiplayer, and I enjoy these cards being there because it can actually check somebody.
Yeah.
Playing that at the right time can make the difference between people reaching up to the first place or people running away. I think the existence of those cards is fine. Don't necessarily enjoy them, but I don't think I would rate it a 1 for that for sure.
That direction I can understand. I mean, but there's so much about the game that I like.
Yeah.
I don't hate the art, but it's also nothing where I go crazy.
Exactly.
That's
it.
I was very surprised by garbage take that. That I think that's rough compared to some of the take that things out there. This is so mild.
Yeah, and I think the way they design the cards and let's say the mental points they've assigned to each thing that a card does, I think take that cards are even bad point wise. So I think that's why they take that on those cards to just make them stand up to the rest of the cards. So I don't really mind it at all. I don't think it's bad. I take that.
Great.
Okay, we did talk about 2 people that made multiple comments. So before we did the next one, I clicked on the profiles just so I don't misunderstand them, right? And then the person, Tic Tac Toe, says that he rates games based on something he created. So his number 1 means it exists, it's not something I found enjoyable or compelling.
Okay.
So he has a different rating instead, and he's rating based on that, which is okay. And then the other person, Smurf of Death, says anything below a 5 is too low to even rank. To wit, trash. I don't like and don't want to play anything down here, though that feeling is more intense for some games than others. I mean, calling something a trash that people have that put actually a lot of work in it, I don't think it's something you should post. But yeah, sure, everybody has their own opinion. It's just surprising that 2 people rated our top games on one back to back. That was wild.
I like one line he wrote here. I like games that makes me feel clever as opposed to games that make me feel the designers clever. It was a funny thing to
I hope you're not listening to the podcast. But yeah, anyway, everybody's entitled to their opinion and we respect it, even though it might sound like we don't.
It's nice to hear them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, there is a very large one and then 2 smaller ones. Which ones would you like me to do? Should I do the large?
Let's do the large one.
Okay, so and let's break it down. I'm honestly baffled by the hype surrounding Terraforming Mars. You and Smooth of Death as well. Sure, it's popular, but the fact that it's ranked 4th at the time, and he made that in January, in the world, that just blows my mind. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anyone who enjoyed it, but let's be real, compared to the top games out there today, it just doesn't hold up. The game is loved by people who claim to dislike randomness, yet it's some of the most random experiences that I've ever had at the table. Let's stop here and then we'll read the rest. I mean, BGG really works on many people going in and ranking. So if a lot of people are putting it there, I mean, that's still a lot of people love the game, us included. Randomness, I can see your starting position being different from game to game, but even in your starting position, keep in mind you look at a combination of 2 corporations, 4 preludes, and 10 cards, and then you start. So how much randomness can really be once you have all these different
Of course,
parameters.
If you play with Prelude.
Yeah, if you play with Prelude. Even if you don't, you still look at 2 corporations and 10 cards. So you want to add something or should I continue?
No, I mean, I think we have talked about it before, that in any games with a huge deck, Arc Nova and whatever, there are some randomness if you especially are thinking, I want to try out this strategies this game. That's impossible. But usually those games balance the cards very well. So you do get, let's say, something like an equal strong hand, but they work in different ways. So that's not randomness for us necessarily.
Yeah, I agree. The whole premise of the game, competing as corporations to terraform Mars by raising the temperature, increasing oxygen levels, and creating oceans, sounds fascinating on paper. There we agree. You're balancing resource management, playing unique project cards, and competing for the best spots on the board. Sounds good so far. The idea of gradually transforming the planet and vying for milestones and awards should create a tense, engaging experience. Sounds good so far. But in practice, it falls flat for me. Does he say why? Maybe he does down the line. Let's wait.
Yeah, let's take the rest.
Yeah. The late game in particular feels like it plays itself. You're left making obvious point-based decisions that lack any real excitement or strategic depth. It's a grind, and not the kind that leaves you feeling satisfied when you finally reach the end. After just a few plays, I knew this one wasn't for me. If someone suggests terraforming Mars on game night, I'd honestly rather sit out and do something else. The game just doesn't live up to the massive hype it's built around it. Okay. Some games of terraforming Mars, especially in higher player counts, can really feel like a grind during the late game where you're trying to maximize your points and be more efficient with your actions. But I think that that's what a Euro game is. You play the whole game, you've built your engine, and then in the end, you're just trying to maximizing it. Think of it like you're actually building an engine, right? You've worked on it, you've built it, and now in the end, you just need to adjust a few things here and there, which means snatching a point here, maximizing this thing here. So I think it makes sense. It can be a grind, but I think it makes sense. And I think that I actually enjoy that process. I enjoy the process of trying to maximize, okay, 1 point there, 2 point there, you're just getting 1, so if I get 2, I'm 1 up. That's it. The other part I think is outrageous. If somebody suggested it, I'm sitting out, I think I would play even, I don't know, what's that game? The date game. I would even play that if it's on game night. I would sit it out. Match Madness. I mean, I don't know. I think that's just a person thing. If you would sit out playing with your friends because of the game, I don't know. I don't think I would do it.
Yeah, I think just to touch on a few of those things as well. The way he actually described first the thing with the milestones and competing for it, it sounded on paper actually more like a very interactive game. Oh, I need to get this and this, and that's not what the game is for those things. Sure, it's nice when you get it and you're looking around and stuff, but it's not like super interactive there. And that I can see maybe that fell flat for him. If the way he made that part of the game sounds nicer than what it is in the game, but that's not why I love the game, for example. So I can maybe see if that's it. Maybe high expectations on the wrong parts of the game might lead to disappointment in that sense. And then, like you said, the rest, it's not much to add with the whole way that engine builders works. There is, of course, this thing in this game where the end is not set, that if everybody really wants to engine build and nobody's doing like, oh, I'm going to do these parameters for points, then the game is actually becomes longer because of your play group, which is also a thing to consider sometimes.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Okay, all in all, Terraforming Mars, you heard the feedback. It's mostly about that. There is way more feedback. We know the art is a thing that people don't like.
Yeah.
Some of the attitude of the designers people don't like, but we're not going to dive super deep into that. Maybe a Patreon episode would be cool about that. But yeah.
And as we could see, and with many of these games, way more high ratings than low ratings.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Outrageous how much the difference is. So it's not a lot.
Speaking of a game that doesn't have that many ratings yet, because it's a new game from 2025,
yes.
It's my number 3 game of all time, The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, a very heavy game at 4.07 weight. It has it has 1,610 ratings, 1,009 ratings, 408, and then 29 1-point ratings. So we're not going to stop in here too much. We're just going to give a little bit of a brief about this game. I personally haven't explored it fully yet. I've played it around 10 times. So also take whatever I say with a grain of salt, as I haven't played it that much. Okay, there is a very huge review. I think I'll start there.
Okay.
It's be good to take some notes and then read one or two more.
Yeah.
This was a huge disappointment for me, says Avel XV from Latvia on November 2025. This game really tries to feel big and expensive, but in reality, it's very shallow and dry. Yes, it has a huge rulebook, 90 plus pages, and few other useless books. Okay. Let me read. Yeah. You will have to invest a lot of time to go through all the rules, but when you are done learning it, you start to understand how shallow the game really is. I bet that you could easily fit all the rules in 30 pages. All right. The other useless books are not useless at all. You need them actually to play the game. They are the storybooks. And fit all the rules in 30 pages, maybe you could, but then you wouldn't have a very comprehensive rulebook.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where there's a lot of details. Not in the point of something like Mage Knight, but there are a lot of details. You have a grid, there's a map, there's hexagons, so whenever there's that, there are details. I prefer a large rulebook where it covers every single rough situation than a rulebook that's just 30 pages and then I have to go to BGG. And for this particular game, whenever I had a question, the rulebook had it for me. Of course, I know some of the big rulebook names have worked on this rulebook. So I know this rulebook is very comprehensive, but 90 pages can feel like a lot. I get that.
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's 90, by the way.
No.
I'm not fact-checking you, but I don't know if it's 90.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a mix between those two things you said, a small rulebook and then a large FAQ in the rulebook in the back. But that, of course, means you need to use the rulebook more.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that's better, but I wonder if there's something like that in between that would have fit this person.
Yeah. Half of every gadgeteer, which are the books that you read to play the adventures, are just the same whole page for every city encounter, and these encounters are 95% identical. Facts? Kinda. They are different in small ways, but these small ways make the game feel different and make also thematic sense. You have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Do you really need a whole page to tell me that in this city I can buy 3 random items and have 4 random trainers? In another city I can buy 5 items and have 2 trainers? I mean, yes, he also says it, sorry. Yes, it could provide a viable option if they could put effort to create unique artwork for every city, but it's basically same empty, uninspiring layout for every city. You basically can throw away half of the useless paperwork. Okay, I know it feels identical, but keep in mind that this is a forever game for many people. So actually having different encounters in every city makes the game way more replayable. Imagine if every city encounter was the same thing. That would get boring real fast. Now, even if you say there's 5 items and 3 instead of 4 and 5, there are other aspects in the city that are different. The city action, or the guilds, or the quests, or they are different. And there is a big lore session above every city page that you can read the lore about the city. And trust me, if you want artwork for the cities, this is a very well-established franchise. You can find the artwork
Yeah, I wonder if he actually means that it is different, but the artwork is what he wants to be different. He wants it to feel like, oh, this is a undead part, or this is a magical part, but every page looks the same, or the items looks the same, or something. Which is something I don't care about. But
from reading it, I don't think that's his
Yeah.
issue. I think he's more about that every city feels the same,
yeah,
and just the artwork not being there is just like, let's say, the cherry on top. That's how I read it.
Okay.
What about other half of these wonderful books? You will have an opportunity to experience the most uninspiring and dry filler text that will lead you to an extremely boring missions, like go to a city in 4 days to have a random encounter and then go to another city in 8 days and have another random encounter. I mean, that's how the game is designed.
Yeah.
I can see it being annoying. I don't know. You've played the game and you're not usually playing these types of game.
Yeah.
How did it feel for you?
Well,
you're a better judge.
I mean, I can clearly see this is a point. I don't think it's these specific lines. I don't think they're particularly unfair. But I think what you also need to know is that they did this so that you could go into this game and play without having to care about this as well, right? So this text is not like from my place, which is just 2. I mean, as full sessions. Is not something where you need to listen, take notes, and use them later on in the thing. There's just some extra flavor. So if you don't care, you can play faster, you can ignore it a bit. If you do care and want to add a little bit of a flavor to your game, you can look into it. So if he went into, he want this to be like super thematic and meaningful, then maybe it's not as much as it could be in a way.
Yeah. I will keep reading and then say what I feel. Yes, you could argue that main point of this game is to build characters and roll dice. It is the only thing that you want. If it is the only thing that you want, just stick with it. Just stick with too many bones, you will get the same experience for less money. Yes, they created another illusion about how grand and epic this game is by advertising countless races and classes and how you can endlessly replay the game with every possible combination. But to be honest, I don't want to play any of this combination in this empty and uninspiring world. I don't know, I've played it a few times and the combinations did feel way more different and I was doing different things all around. Well, as I said, I've only played it 10 times, so everything I say, in comparison with the other games I've talked about, take with a grain of salt. In the end, it feels like a shameless money grab. If we could throw away all the expensive bullshit materials from the box, from gameplay standpoint, it would be okay to pay for this game maybe $30. I would still never play it, but at least I would not have a feeling like someone robbed it. I have a lot of board games, and this one will be the first game that I am going to sell. And to be honest, I feel a little bit dirty for selling this to another human.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a hate on our hands. Okay, I will start by saying that if he bought it without actually having some context from the Elder Scrolls universe, then why spend $200? Because the game, before you could buy it, you could see a full playthrough online. So he could have probably watched how the game plays, right? And then decided to spend a buttload of money, which this game, unfortunately, is worth. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been... He probably played it more than me, I'm assuming. I want to hope that he has played it more than me. And I haven't been yet to the place where everything feels repeatable and boring, as he says. So if I ever am in that place, I could see me dropping my rating. Still, I highly doubt it would be a 1. Yeah. But of course, I am a fan of the franchise, and that definitely helps. And what you said before, I do see theme inside.
Yeah.
I see nods to the game. I see theme in places, but it does still feel like the theme is not getting in the way. The narrative is small, but it exists, which is exactly what I think you need in a game like this, so you can get people engaged.
Yeah, it does sound like he came from Too Many Bones and has played that a lot. Yeah. So maybe he was expecting a different type of huge upgrade, and it did sound like he actually liked how you could do the classes and stuff.
I think the round things is what he did.
Yes, it's just the world he thought, so why do I want to make this super cool character if he's just doing the same as my last super cool character? Something like that. But, all right.
Let's take 2 more because this pretty much covered everything the game. All the negatives of the game were covered in this one. Somebody says, this is it. This is my forever game. And he rated it a 1.
This guy probably thought...
I want to believe it's a 10. Yeah.
This is my number 1 game. That's what I'm going to put it in.
Okay, I think that's what he meant. Yeah. Hopefully. Graviticious, that's you. Let's go to Lucas Sonegundes 1 from Brazil. Just because it won't be language compatible with future expansions, now that CDG decided to keep English and let partners to decide whatever they're translating or not. I may change rating one day if everything goes right in the future. I mean,
fair.
valid points.
Yeah.
Very valid point. If you bought the base game in a language and then the expansions are not supported, that's a very valid crash out. I would freak out as well, I think.
Yeah.
Final one, and then I'm bringing it back to you, Brian Comrie. I'm not sure there is a single mechanically fun aspect to this game. Character creation. Boom. I rule you out. No, just kidding. Okay, for a crawler that plays itself, it is needlessly complicated, has a cooldown system with fatigue that can take away multiple player turns, and just void of any decision making. Once again, haven't played it enough to say if I agree or disagree with that. From the times I've played it, I feel like actually the cooldown system is pretty neat, and you can mitigate it pretty well with correct actions. The character creation is astounding. I don't know. It's very. If I was just playing to create characters, I think it would be a fun game on its own. Yeah. So I don't know.
My favorite part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a crawler that plays itself, true to a point, but still that doesn't mean it can't be fun and engaging, even though if it plays itself. I think that's it for me, man.
All right. Yeah. A huge game that came out not that long ago. So let's see what happens in the future. Right now is taking the world with storm, I want to say so.
Definitely.
All right. My top 3 game of all time. Ascension Tactics miniature deck building game.
Wait.
I think this is, especially for this particular episode, I don't remember from the 6 or 10, is the least famous of the game so far, right? It's not a huge hit in the same way. So it has way less ratings, but it, like our other games, most people have amazing taste, and it has a lot of high ratings, and it actually only has 5 1 ratings, 0 2 ratings, and 7 3s. So, but percent-wise, it kind of matches the other games we had. So I will just read the 1 ratings here. Moving from hex A towards hex B, get killed, repeat. I play games for the interesting decision. This game has none. That's Hentila from Finland. Okay, so the funny part is, I usually don't like, let's say, area control games or hex games where, I'm moving characters around in this way, but I actually think they managed to make this mostly a deck building game with this part on top where it becomes I want to say fun in lack of a better word, but it becomes also interesting for me to how do I build up my deck, which do I go, and depending on the map, I think there are a lot of options. Should I take this character there? Maybe he can fit in this. Maybe I go this way around. If I buy this card, I can teleport him over there. So I think it's way more than moving from A to B and then get killed. Repeat. The fact that it's not one of those games, I lost my character, he's out. That's amazing, because that actually really makes it not one of those games like, oh man, you killed my best character, and now I have to play with all the ones I didn't care about. No, I think it's cool that they come in and fight and go back. I never played Blood Rage and stuff like that, but this sounds like some of the cool things I heard in reviews about those games that, your characters die, go to Valhalla, you become stronger, blah, 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 all that stuff. So I really disagree, but...
Yeah, I mean, going from Hex A to Hex B to get killed, it's a deck building game.
Yeah.
Even if anything else, just playing a deck building game, it's fun on its own. So the added aspect of a hex grid, I don't know how it can possibly make it worse, given how Ascension is one of the most well-known deck building games out there.
Exactly. And just that everybody starts with 4 characters and you can control them all in different ways and directions. All right. Number 1, I'm not going to swear on this podcast. The name of the game is Ascension Tactics Miniatures Deck Building Game. That's right.
It's a large name.
That is highly deceiving. There are literally no miniatures in this game. All you get are these little cardboard tokens.
What?
So, this game has 2 editions.
Okay.
And if you don't have the expensive edition, you actually don't get the miniatures. So I think there's a bit of confusion, and maybe I don't know how well the company, I'm sure for the Kickstarter and everything, it's been clear, but later on when shops buy them and then so on, I can see how you could be
But it's called a miniature
confused. Yeah, it's called that exactly thing.
Okay. Yeah, valid.
Yeah. So in that sense, I can see it.
Yeah.
But there are miniatures in the game overall, but there are versions without miniatures.
Okay. So in the base version I buy, are there 0 miniatures inside or just a few of them? Or do you know?
If depends what you mean by I don't know if one of the versions are based. I guess there is.
Yeah.
There's no miniatures.
Yeah.
There are cardboard tokens instead.
Ah, okay. Standees. Yes.
Standees,
Yes, I remember. Okay.
But even me, I mean, originally I bought the standee versions and then I went to the miniatures versions. I knew it because I don't have to do a lot of research. But if you go in a store and you see it on a box and you want to buy it, and
It says, does it says miniature deck building on the game, on the box?
yes, with text, it does say it, small text, Ascension Tactics, and then miniatures deck building game.
Okay.
So I could see that.
Valid. Yeah.
And
is it worth one problem?
No. But I understand. And
Yeah.
the last comment has the same problem. So the miniatures deck building game contained exactly 0 miniatures. Available to only the KS customers. Never been more furious about the game.
Oh my
Disgusting practice to all the kissers who back a game years in advance only to be gifted with some stupid extras. But this game is called a miniature deck builder. So what? Only the KS version gets cards too? Never ever liked KS. Is out and out robbery. But this is absolutely ridiculous. So, I feel this one is rated on Kickstarters. I think this one is rated. I don't like how Kickstarting works in general. That's very valid. Should they have made 2 different boxes, one called Ascension Tactics Miniature Deck Building Game and one called Ascension Tactics
Deck building game?
But that's the original Ascension Tactics. As the other one.
No, the original is Ascension.
It's called Ascension Deck Building Game, the original one.
Yeah, Ascension Tactics.
Ascension Tactics. Yeah, true. Should they have made 2 different boxes for that? Probably. Will it do a lot for production, all that? I don't know. But
not well versed as well.
But I can understand people.
All right. Cool. I mean, of course, there's going to be a lot of negatives. It's, as you said, a game not as popular as the other ones. Still, I will say, very enjoyable for me. That I was a huge fan of Ascension and the Apprentice Edition, and then moving into this, it was pretty cool. Okie dokie, where are we? Are we number 2 now?
You're number 3. No,
my number 2.
Yeah, true, you're number 2. Elder Scrolls is number 3. Yes.
That's right. My number 2, well, if you're following us along, I hope you have heard me talk about it. I hope you're watching our YouTube videos. Up to now, there are 5 episodes out. It's Kingdom Legacy. We're doing a Battling Kingdom series with Ulrich on YouTube. Please go watch that. We put a lot of work into that. Pretty cool. Interview with designer and all that. Well, this is a solo legacy game that has 47 1 ratings and not that many ratings overall, like 410s, 809s, and 908s. And I kid you not, all of the negative reviews, with the exception of the 2 I will read, have the same issue. AI art. And of course, I couldn't agree more. I mean, one of the cards even has 6 fingers, which is ridiculous. But I have been the bigger person and I have overlooked the AI art just because of how awesome this game feels when I personally play it. Totally agree if you don't want to support companies doing that, and review bombing them is a good way to, keep...
And make it aware.
Make it aware, yeah. So I'm not going to read all the AI art reviews. There are like 30 of them. I'm just going to focus on 2 others that do mention AI art, but also give you more of the game. Okay? First one is from November 2025 by Mayasti, and he says, I envy people who, after reading those 2 A4 pages of instructions for a game that's actually incredibly simple, had no doubts about how to play it. You're envy of me. Thank you. I had 2 key issues and had to watch a video where the author, I'm assuming designer, admitted he had to watch another video to figure out what was going on. Bravo! We're talking about a game that can be explained in 5 minutes if the rules had been written precisely. I would love to hear what those rules were. Just saying it now without saying those rules? I don't know. The base rules were pretty simple because the game is pretty simple. There are, of course, a few notorieties, but that goes with every game, I feel. I would really like to know, though, what that specific one was.
I think I will say, if we put aside the rules for a moment, just for a little moment, I, as a person who don't play a lot of solo game, hated the fact that I might accidentally cheat. So I think I also looked into something, which I think I actually understood from the beginning, but I wanted to be sure I wasn't wrong. Yeah. Because I could never go back, right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
So if he's anything like that a bit, then I could see maybe that's had something.
Being a negative? Well, could be. And the game itself, well, After shuffling the first 23 cards out of about 140, I don't feel the thrill of the upcoming adventure and even don't want to continue it. Like in TV series, if the first episode doesn't pull you in, you quit the entire series. Well, exaggeration, but
Actually, I don't, but yeah.
I also don't. It's all about collecting and spending resources and shuffling cards to get even more resources to shuffle even more resource-consuming cards. Pretty boring, repeatable, and endless resource conversion with no immersion into the theme. Where did you lose the fun, my dear? I have never disagreed with the person that much. I feel like, and now I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I will say it. I feel like this game tells a story that is excellent without using a single word. And the story, the interesting thing is that every time you play it, you actually create a different one. Because there's so many expansions now, you can follow them in different order. And even if you play the expansions in the same order like me and Ulrich do, we have such a big difference in what we do just because of decision making, how everybody perceives the cards and how everybody perceives what's valuable and what's not. I want to play the long game. I want to play the sword game. I want to do this. I want to bring this immigrant in. I want to build that castle. I think the decision is there. I think if this was a TV series, I would rate it 10 out of 10, actually, even though, the CGI would be awful, AI art. But still, I don't know. I think I totally disagree with what you said. I can see your point about the rules being a little bit fiddly, but the point of being not interesting and just resources to... I totally disagree. I don't find it boring at all. You played it a little bit. No, you played it a lot, actually. You played the whole campaign. Did it feel like that? You can be honest. I will...
Yeah, no. I think I understand the... Well, let me say, I think a strength, which is also maybe sometimes a weakness of the game, is the story that you are talking about comes from you. So that means if you are creative and interested and already caught from the beginning, you will create and make that story, and that's amazing that the game can make you see that story. If you are not, then there is maybe no story, even though, of course, I can see the argument there is, but maybe there is not, because like you said, there is no text. This might just be a card that you're looking at with some, especially if you don't like the art and you think, oh, this is AI or whatever, and I can flip it and I get another guy. If you don't see the story part, right?
Yeah.
So,
sure.
And that's why I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a strength that might for some people be an actual weakness because it requires something of you, which I don't think we've been taught from a lot of games to begin with, to do that ourselves in a way, which, depending on who you are, who played a lot and like to do that things, that's amazing for you, because now you actually get to put you into the game in a way. So,
I get what you say. Yeah. It's not that abstract. I mean, when you defeat a Dark Lord and you get an impressed boy, I mean, it's easy to put two and two together. The boy was watching you defeat him, and that's why he's impressed.
I understand that, and I think that too, but I can see somebody...
You're not understanding it?
Just flipping, and there's, now I got a boy for some reason, Okay. If you don't make the story... All right. You need to make the story to kind of...
Yeah, I see the point.
And if you don't make the story, there is actually no story in a way. But of course there is in the game.
Yeah, got it. I see what you mean now. The next one I will read, which is not about AI completely, is from Gamel. Legacy games that destroy components should all receive a 1. And then he says something about AI. This gets a 1.1 due to the fact that the AI cards end up in trash, which is not a positive artistically, even though it's twice as wasteful. Anyway. We've talked about legacy games a lot. We've talked about that many legacy games tear up components. And actually, if you are watching our series, one of us is doing it, which, of course, you don't have to do, though.
Yeah.
You can choose to not destroy the cards and keep replaying the game. You can use repeatable stickers. You can put sleeves and mark the sleeves. You can do that. It's just that it wants to give you the legacy vibe. Personally, I like it. I don't know if I would tear up my cards like somebody does when we film. But yeah. I see your point. Definitely not a 1. And definitely all legacy games that destroy components should receive a 1. That I completely disagree with. There are legacy games that are incredible that destroy components.
So just like earlier when we talked about a rating that touched on Kickstarter, this is not a rating of the game. It's a rating of legacy as a concept.
Yeah.
Cool. Should it have been here then? I don't know. I think, with so many other things that we consume, going to the movies is over after it's done. Buying something delicious is over after it's done. I don't think legacy games are wrong for making you only being able to play it once. So, and of course, if you're not a gamer and you bought this, then you might not have sleeves laying around, reusable stickers. How do you get those? I think there are some things that could be problematic for you.
Yeah, for sure. Totally get it. And that was Kingdom Legacy. Go and watch our series and our interview designer on our YouTube channel. Peace out.
All right.
What is your number 2?
It's a crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's number 8.
Yes, it was.
And that is, not just my number 2. The world's number 2.
The world's number 2.
Ranked number 2 overall is, of course, Ark Nova. And we are also waiting for the new, let's say, buffed edition, the 3D edition coming here in around October. And it's very highly ranked. It has a 17,010 ratings, 20,009 ratings, and down here in the bottom, 211 1 ratings, which is, of course, still something, but it's also a small percentage, of course. So let's see what it is. There's a German one that I'm skipping. I'm going straight for the English here. This game is long, and you spend the whole time feeling like you are making no progress. If it feels more like a chore than a game, the game itself does not want to interact with the players, so you just feel like you are playing your own game by yourself. Well, let's look at it. So you're playing your own game by yourself. I understand what he might mean, especially if he comes for games like steal from each other, backstab, all of that. There is actually a lot of times where I've been like, no, you took my partner Sue. I needed this round, and it's not refilling before the next round. Or I need to do this before we go on a break. Or these cards in here, I really want to play them. Should I play them directly just so you can get them before me? I think there's a lot of things where you actually are affecting each other so much. But in a subtle way, which I like. It's not a way where I feel like you potentially ruined it for me. You could maybe if you were. But so I definitely don't think that's... Is it too long? It's definitely too long if you play 4, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I would never play it 4 if I can avoid it. But if that's the option there is, I'm playing it anyway.
Maybe with the right group I'd play it 4.
Yeah, but as a general, 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and solo if you play with the Arno solo bot, which it's on BGG. It's very cool, actually.
Nice.
Look at that.
I think that was mostly what he didn't like. I mean, it's a chore. I actually think you progress a lot. You get your income higher. You get new different special bonuses. Whenever other players do this now, I get money, and I know it's one of the goals. So I feel a lot of progression. You upgrade your action cards, which make them way better. So
yeah, it definitely has. I feel like, and I'm not saying this because I love Terraforming Mars, I also love Ark Nova. I feel like the progression is more subtle than it is in Terraforming Mars, and you have to work harder for it.
Yeah.
But it also feels like it's more rewarding because you work harder to get where you are. Yeah. But it's still there for sure.
Yeah. Far too long for what boils down to a multiplayer solitaire plus race game. Save your time and play for a shuffle, or actually don't instead.
Holy moly! Yeah, no.
I think.
Good luck counting the points in for a shuffle, my friend.
Yeah.
Saving time.
And honestly, forget the animals. Then it's such a different game. It's just because it's animals and cards. That's not compared at all. For a shuffle, you don't have any resources or money. You're just paying cards. So, okay. But I mean, I like both games. So why shouldn't we support zoos and their conservation project? So this is a different type of thing. There's a YouTube link with it. I think zoos are very different without knowing too much about it in different parts of the world. I had a friend who worked in a zoo here and knew a lot about the zoo's projects and what they did, and she was working hard for that. So ever since that, I thought, okay, I actually thought that part was nice about the zoo, how they get some animals, help them before they send them out again and the stuff. I know there's also, especially in maybe other parts of the world, in little Denmark here, where it's very bad. So I understand what this is. Does it support that part? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But in that sense, fair rating. Uninspired mixtape of a game with poorly written rules and way too many cards. Never have we ever...
Come on, man.
We have hated many times when there were too few cards.
Yeah.
We're seeing the same cards every game, but no.
I've played it like 20, 30 times. I still think that there might be a card I haven't played for sure. Come on. That's nice. That's cool, people. Why don't you like them? I have a friend that doesn't like that.
So
why?
Yeah.
It's just variability. It's nice. It's not randomness, I think.
But yeah, that's it. Oh,
yeah.
and look at the last ones yourself if you want to.
Yeah, of course. My number one game this year was, surprising even me, Millennium Blades. It is a it tries to make fun of trading card games by re-implementing a trading card game at the table. You go and you get your cards, and then you go in tournaments and play with them. I give a description because maybe people might not know about it.
Yeah.
365 on the weight, and it doesn't have that many reviews. It has 700 10s, 1.2k 9s, 1.7k 8s, but only 15 ones. And out of those 15, only 2 actually write comments, so not a lot to talk about. Maybe I can say some negatives afterwards. The real-time trading, says Hazard, is kind of fun, but the tournaments are kind of dull tableau builders. I will agree that I like the real-time more than I like the tournament. I think it's more engaging.
Yeah.
And I hate with a passion real-time in games. I still love this. I don't know. It's just nice.
Yeah.
You have to play it a few times to get into it, though. Tournaments are kind of dull tableau builders. We played it at 5, and I think that was one of the biggest mistakes in my board gaming life. And I will never do that again, I promise. But after that, we played 3, and with the 2 of the people that actually had played it at that 5 table, and it felt so nice. So nice. If you play this game and you want to play it more, please, at least for your first plays, try and follow the guidelines of creating the decks as the game recommends, because otherwise you can create some wombo crazy different combos. That can get. The tableau building can be dull. I can see your point. It didn't feel like that for me in the 3-player game. And even in the 5-player game, it's not the tableau builder that felt dull. It's just that the interactions were happening so often in a 5-player game, where somebody like Ayub, for example, who was last in the turn order, could not even build his tableau.
Yeah.
And that, I can assume, it was extremely annoying.
That was,
Yeah.
you weren't playing. I wasn't playing,
Yeah.
basically. The next comment that I see here interested me very much from your standpoint.
ASF Steve says, I
Yes.
played too much competitive MTG in my youth to get anything out of this game. Well, I did play very much competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! In my youth. Yeah, I see what he means, and I do not treat this as a card game at all. The thing that I've played so many different card games actually makes me more hyped about this game, because I get all the references it has. You know, when you play the Exodia equivalent card and you can see why it does the thing, I understand it. When you play the Mana Lotus and you sacrifice it to take, I understand. So that, I think for me, it's working opposite than what it is for Steve. For me, it's more hype because I can see all the references and all the, oh, that's the mechanism from Magic the Gathering. Oh, dual monsters. Yeah, I know that. Oh, that's Pokemon. So it works kind of in a nice way for me. I get it that I was probably too obsessed with the game, and now that I've seen things clearly and played it a few times, I still love it. Probably not my number one anymore, but still, this is a game definitely meant for people who want to have it as their lifestyle game. I doubt somebody can play this once and say, oh, I love this game.
Yeah.
You have to play it multiple times, and to some degree, you must be okay with playing a trading card game at some point in your life to get the appeal, I think.
Yeah, everything you said as well. I mean, I only played it twice, so I have less to add about it. But I mean, I can definitely see that it helps a lot that you are just as much as a card gamer like that, you're also a board gamer. So then not only do you see all the things, but they also mix 2 of your worlds together in a nice way, right? So if he played a lot of Magic and plays a little bit of
board games,
and somebody told him, hey man, this is like, you know, if you play Magic,
it's probably what happened.
then he will definitely be like, man, I would never play this. Magic is way better, right? And if he's still playing Magic or something like that. So
We're with you, Steve. We get you. All right. What is your number one, sir?
my number one of all time, which people should not have pushed down, is ranked 30 right now.
You know, Seti and Slave Aspire pushing it down.
It's annoying. But it is Lost Ruins of Anak.
Well, you
I
know.
don't care what everybody else say. This is a great, amazing game, man. Yeah, it's we talked a lot about it before as well. It has a lot of positive ratings. 7,000 10s, 16,000 9s, 19,000 8s, and so on and so forth. And then 82 ones,
Okay.
which I think is
Okay.
not too bad. Gonna read the first one from Manturang. Suffers from no player interaction, just a solitaire game with others on the table. Research board is a separate minigame which does not help gameplay. Okay. I would rather not play anything instead of playing Anna, so I will give it the lowest possible rating. Interesting.
Well, so what's the research board again? Is it the
It's
track?
on the right side of the tracks where you go up, which I definitely think helps gameplay. So that's very interesting. He wanted a simpler game, I think. He wanted a simpler game, a worker placement game with more interaction. I think then the way the interaction here, I love it. You know, you having to think about stuff like, okay, it's the first round, I'm second, so if I explore a new place, I will be the first one who can go out there the next turn, meaning I can get the spot that I will discover twice in a row. That's very meaningful interaction for me. Like, although it's not for somebody walking by looking down at it, doesn't look like interaction, you are interacting with each other like that. Oh, I'm first now. Should I really go up in the top and discover a super cool place? Somebody else will get it next time. Like, you're even thinking about these things, right? Should I go up the research track now, which I want to, which I don't want to, but because there's a benefit the first player gets, if I do it now, although it's not optimal, I might risk losing that thing. All of these things, I think, are very interactive in a subtle way.
Yeah, exactly. It's the indirect interaction that these games have that I think you and I love.
Yes.
So definitely Arnak has that for sure.
And then, I mean, I wonder if he tried the leaders, which I think is amazing for the game.
Essential, if I may.
Yeah.
If I may.
Next one, light, medium weight Euro optimizer. Definitely is an optimizer with a dash of deck building, worker placement, and a hand management at 20 to 30 minutes per player. Okay.
Thank you for describing the game.
But also kind of playing fast if he can play it in less than an hour, 2 players. But yeah. Inoffensive, best target at family casual gamers. Whoa.
Again.
Inoffensive, best targeted at family/casual gamers. So he don't find it that complex. Decision space isn't deep or wide enough. Okay. Low interaction, only minor blocking or buying items others want. You could say that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Replay won't hold up. Interesting.
Probably without the expansion.
Definitely,
I think it doesn't play with the leaders.
Yes, and having, all these different leaders that have their own starter deck, their own ability boards, unique ways they play, will much higher replayability. Decision space becomes bigger as well. And but even without the leaders, definitely not a 1. Definitely higher decision space. I'm not saying insane, but still exploring cards, going to spots, doing research. You have to think about this a lot. I think sometimes people think, if I don't have as many options as if I do in Civolution, I don't have decisions. No, man. It's insane that you need to...
We've been trained like that.
Yeah, pick at the right time, right?
Like, you're right.
Concordia has a lot of decisions, although you're just playing a card, But
like Germany, you just play a card, right?
But it's a lot... or discard a card to do something. Okay. It's a different talk.
Yeah, it's a cool game, man. If there's somebody out there that hasn't played Lost Ruins of Arnak, do it. You will not regret it. It is a great game.
And then something less, better build our deck so that we can probably sweep these ruins of all their treasure. That sounds good.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want treasure and I want deck building. Like, and did he rate 1?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, man. I mean, okay.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I think mostly if we think about both these 2 episodes, we can see some things that people say.
Exactly.
Which is nice. People are not trashing only. But it's just not things that matters at all for us for these games compared to all the goodness.
Yeah. I think a lot of the reviews of the people were not a lot. Like, let's say like a 60% was not about the actual game, but about something about the game.
Yeah.
Like its production, or its artwork, or,
Yeah.
But the reviews that were detailed about the actual game, these were my favorite to read.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it was nice to see people's perspective, especially people that you knew by reading the review how much they've played it. This person has played it a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a very interesting project, I will say. And if you liked it, just let us know. We can definitely do something similar in the future. For sure.
We can also do the opposite at some point, reading the best comments of the games we hate the most.
That would be I'm putting it in. I'm putting it in. Oh man, Match Madness. Let's see what you people have to say.
All right.
Like every episode, at the end of it, we are flying. We're doing our 5 on the fly, where we each pick 5 games, and the other person has to rank them without knowing what's coming next. Are you ready, Ayub?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You always say I'm not.
Yeah, but let's do it. Now we did all the thing with our favorite game, so this feels a little bit lighter on my heart than usual.
All right. Your first game is Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Okay.
A well-beloved game.
It is a well-beloved game. I'll put it on number 3.
Number 3 is a good score. Your next game is Drop It.
Okay. It's a dexterity game where you have to drop pieces between like 2 pieces of glass, and they need to land in specific areas to score. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It felt like a dexterity version of tic-tac-toe. Not tic-tac-toe, 4 in a row. In a way.
I played it with Chris?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yes. Kind of reminds me of something now.
I think the downside was you needed specifically 2 or 4. Let's put it 4.
4. The next one, it feels like it's going to be something similar by the name. It's called Blockus.
Blockus? Okay, so the thing about Blockus, I might rate it higher than I should, just because you remember my friend Michael, who I used to play Robo Rally with.
I do.
He also owned Blockus, and we actually used to play it a lot
Oy.
At his place. It is a abstract game. You each have different, let's say, Tetris-shaped pieces, and you each start in each corner of the board, and you need to place them so they are diagonally adjacent to your previous pieces. So you can kind of go around each other's pieces, and if you are not able to place one of your pieces, you're out, and the amount of pieces you have left is your points.
Okay.
So it's actually a very nice, what's the genre?
Puzzle?
Abstract game.
Yeah.
For an abstract game that I enjoyed. Will I enjoy it today? Probably not as much. But just from that hype of memory, I'll put it on 2.
All right. Next game, it's actually one of the dexterity games that I like more than you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Dungeon Fighter.
Dungeon Fighter, you definitely like more than me.
You have 1 and 5 left.
Yeah. The unfair part is that although it didn't matter for the game that much, I played it with you in a different language. So I didn't get the things from
Greek version. Yes.
Yes. So it was always more like, oh, what does this say? Oh, this is, which takes away a little bit.
Yeah, I felt that with El Grande.
Yeah.
Wonder 5.
Let's put it on 5.
So your number 1 game, my friends.
It always ends like, how bad is it?
I don't know. You'll tell me.
Oh, no.
It is a game called Kodama 3D.
Oh, I really enjoyed it for a long time.
Okay.
Before I sold it because I felt like I was done.
Okay.
But you have these Kodama on top of different 3D pieces, and you're building a 3D tree, and you are putting your Kodamas like on the different spaces, and they score depending on how they are while you get some scoring cards. It's a nice game.
Okay.
Compared to my list today, I actually don't mind it be there.
Okay. Better than Pandemic Legacy Season 1?
Pandemic Legacy, in general, for me, I think fell a little flat.
Good topic to discuss.
Yeah, not because of the game itself, but maybe just because, actually, the legacy part was awesome, I think, but the game was not so much for me.
Okay.
And in general, we talked about it a little bit earlier in this episode, kinda. Stories matters less for me than gameplay. So, that's it.
All right. Hit me.
All right. Your first game is Deck of Wonders.
Oi, man, this game. This is a solo game I bought recently. It's back there. I still haven't managed to explore it fully. I do want to. It's Magic the Gathering, but for solo gamers.
Okay.
So you play Magic the Gathering against an AI opponent that's very well made, I think.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I think I'll put it on 3 because I just haven't explored it yet.
Okay. Then the world likes this game a lot, and it is
5.
Dune Imperium.
Boy, I love that game as well.
I didn't say you didn't.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on number 1.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we have Goblin Dice.
Oh my God, I hate that game with a passion.
Okay.
That is not... Have we played it?
I don't think so.
There was this, in the first time I went to that festival...
Yeah?
Slagelse? No? Yes, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I bought this game for 1 krona. Somebody had it for 1 krona. So you know what? 1 krona, why not? And I bought it. And I played it with Chris, I think, and with some Greek friend. Oh my God, was it awful. The rule book said something different. The game was something different.
Oh, okay.
You were goblins trying to escape a rock falling behind you. So it's like a race game.
Yeah.
But it just didn't make any sense. But we played it 2 times. It was fun. Easy number 5.
Maybe it was a red flag that it cost 1 krona.
Exactly. But we back in the day thought 1 krona board game. But
yeah, which is way less than €1. Okay. Then you have Can't Stop.
I Can't Stop. Can't Stop is a good game.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Nice design.
Can't Stop is definitely better than Goblin Dice.
Yeah.
Definitely, I love the designer. You know that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can put it on number 2 just because I like Deck of Wonders more. And if something that I like more than Deck of Wonders and less than Dune Imperium comes, I will have a perfect list. And I think statistically, that's bound to happen.
All right.
So I'm putting it on number 4.
So
See how wrong I am when Match Madness appears.
Your last game here is has a similar name to something I see behind you, but it's not the game that I see behind you, which is Deep Regrets, but it is a Deep Sea Adventure.
Okay.
Little oink game.
Ugh. I will never forget the first time I played this game. I was like, damn, this game is amazing. Who designed the game that's this small and you go...
Yeah.
And it's just Monopoly push your luck. I don't know. It's fine. I don't know. I'm sure you like it more than I do.
I think so too.
We've played it a couple times together as well. I think the push your luck mechanism in the game is not engaging enough. You don't have a decision. You always go down until you can't.
Yeah.
Personal opinion. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the shared oxygen and, that is kind of fun.
I think it's just math.
For
honestly.
everybody,
Yeah.
That's probably true. But for everybody, they don't see or do the math in the beginning.
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly.
It's a little bit fun. Even for them to be like, okay, you can say it 10 times. People will drown in the first round.
They will, 100%.
And they will say, oh, no, I don't. And then, they go up, oh, it goes down. Oh, I can't move, And,
you can imagine if you're a person who likes math and you don't want to be back-sitting and saying, you shouldn't do that. You're going to drown. I'm not going to drown, he said with excitement in his voice. Yeah. And then he proceeded to drown. But yeah, I get it. We have some fun times playing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it deserves a second spot.
Cool.
All right. So you had Kodama 3D, Blocus, Pandemic Legacy Season 1, Drop It, and Dungeon Fighter. And I had Dune Imperium, Deep Sea Adventure, Deck of Wonders, Can't Stop, and Goblin Dice.
Okay.
Good lists.
Yeah, I think both lists seemed pretty cool.
All right. What an episode. Man.
Yeah, it was a bit long, but I hope it's because we really enjoy going into those things, and we're very curious ourselves as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm usually this passionate, but I like talking about this topic.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you know where you'll find us? You can find more of this podcast on Spotify and YouTube, and you can find our latest videos on YouTube as well, with Battling Kingdoms episode 5 being the latest one. You can find our news on Facebook and Blue Sky, and you can find snapshots of our game nights on Instagram. If you like what we do and you want to support us directly, you can do that through Patreon. Once again, thank you all so much for listening. This was Nick.
This was Ayub.
And we will see you in the next one.